Guys, I wanted to talk about something a little different in this video. This is going to be, it's not upbeat, but it's actually kind of a crappy story. But I wanted to tell you, I might even do a series on this and title it this when I get done. And it's bar and club stories. And I just wanted to talk about some of the things I've been through going to the bar and club. I might even dissect sometime why I think I'm going through some of these things, why these things have happened to me. And I'll just tell you the story. I've told it in a video before, the night that it happened, but this is a pretty good ways back. It was was it during COVID? I can't remember. I think it was during the time of COVID when people were first starting to, go back to stuff. But it was funny. I would go into this bar and club. I go in just about the same one. And, I got so many stories I could tell, but this was the latest. No, not the latest one, but close to it. I'm standing there at the bar in the club, and they have this pole kind of right in the middle of the bar. It's a big pole, kind of connects, I think, the heating, and everything, the air and everything inside. And I'm just standing there, and I would, when I go inside, sometimes I'm nervous, and I stand there and just watch what's going on, if it's a crowd or if there's not many people there. Because a lot of times I don't feel like talking because I'm having symptoms bad, or, I'm just nervous, I don't know anybody, and that kind of thing. Well, I'm standing there, and I go in there all the time. Well, one time I'm standing there, and like I said, kind of follow me with this story. There's this bouncer that started working there. Where I live, it's a small town, so I think they'll hire just about anybody that wants to do bouncer work. They might even hire me if I wanted to. I don't know, But they'll hire anybody, I guess, because they just don't have enough, So they'll kind of take most people if they say, hey, I'll help out for the night, in case anything gets rowdy inside. And it was a little rowdy for a while. They had a few fights and people getting thrown out, so they kind of started hiring more bouncers for a while. The owner did. And there was a black guy that would come there. He looked like he'd be about my age. Got to be around my age. Overweight, bald. Taller than me a little bit, not much. Overweight, kind of like I am right now. And that kind of thing. And he had a white woman, I didn't think was very attractive. Looks old. Like, she has the old look. When she would wear skirts and things where you could see her legs, they looked old, not real physically attractive, right? And I would be sitting there, and they used to sit right at the back of the bar, because there's a big open area in the back where there's tables. You can kind of sit there and get away from, everything, and it's near where the pole is. And I'm standing there at the pole, and like I said, I thought the black bouncer at first was nice. He'd look at you. Most of the bouncers in there are a bunch of jerks, or at least they pretend to be. It's that whole alpha male thing, And most of them are pretty jerky, but he used to be kind of nice, I thought, first. He would kind of get in the music, act like he's dancing. If somebody walked in, he'd be like, yeah, good music, kind of a friendly guy. And he never did it to me, but he did do it to people. So I thought, he seems like he's a little better. He's not such a jerk and a douche. And I think he even drank coffee sometimes, when he was working, because he couldn't drink, And he had been coming there for a while before, just, I guess, out trying to meet women, I guess. And his woman started looking at me, kind of checking me out. And it's what I think. I wasn't interested in her at all. Not she done nothing to me. I'm just not attracted to her, And, I never smiled at her. I never really gave her, I'd look over, but not smile at her. I never did nothing. I never stared or anything, because like I said, it was nothing I really wanted to look at. And she would I noticed look at me several times and smile. And when she'd walk by me, she'd tilt her head down and kind of brush her hair, and stuff like that. And I never, like I said, I never smiled. I never gave a flirtatious smile or a look or anything. Well, I would notice when he worked, he would start standing at the pole, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought, he should stand there. Because some of the bouncers would lean back there when they were watching everything, making sure nothing's getting out of hand and no fights. And he would stand back there, and I didn't think nothing about it. He would just stay there, when he's working there. Of course, I always stood near the back, relaxing, because that's back when I was really in bad shape with the symptoms. But I didn't think nothing about it. And then each time I would come in at night on weekends, and I'd sometimes just lean up against the pole, he would come over and say, "Well, I got to stand there." And I'd be like, "Okay." I didn't know. I thought, well, the owner might have told them they had to stand there to kind of watch what's going on. And they always had more than one bouncer unless it's a quiet night. They'd always have 2 or 3 or whatever. So I didn't think nothing about it. I didn't get mad or anything. And I'd just go and stand somewhere else or go do something else. And I would notice every time I would come in, even if I didn't stand at the pole, because I didn't always stand there, I would come in, he would slide a chair there and sit there, or he'd block the way. And I thought, what the heck, But I thought, well, maybe they don't want me standing there. I don't know, bunch of idiots. But I wasn't going to start no trouble or nothing, And then I would notice when he wasn't working for the night, or if he wasn't working and he wasn't there, because he came there at times when he was off with his girl, when he wasn't there, the bouncers never stood there. They would every once in a while, but they didn't stand there very much. You'd see them walking around doing other things, and so I would stand back there. I said, well, let me stand at the pole and test them. If they tell me to move, I'll move. If they don't want me standing there. So I didn't think nothing about it. I'd stand there. None of the bouncers bothered me. They'd walk right by me, say nothing, wouldn't bother me. And I thought, what the heck? And then he, the next time I went in and he was working again, I went over, not thinking, I wasn't even thinking that night, and I just walked over and just kind of, because it was kind of a halfway crowded night, and I stood against the pole, kind of just started leaning up against it, and he takes one of them big wooden chairs. They have big wooden chairs in the bar, kind of heavy to pick up, and he slid it over, and he goes, "That's my spot." Never nice to me, always sarcastic. And he sat there right next to me. And I just thought, I'm not moving, because I stood there when they were working there. The other bouncers, they never said nothing to me, and they saw me standing there. Never gave me an issue, never, and they're a lot bigger than me, obviously. Never gave me an issue, never told me to move, never gave me any attitude. And I thought, what the hell? And so I just stood there, and I thought, let me see what happens. So I just kind of leaned against the pole while he was sitting there, and I leaned forward, and I went, I was going to be nice because I wanted to see what would happen. And I went, "How you doing?" "Good." Just arrogant, kind of good. And I went, "I'm tired, man." I was kind of saying, "Hey, man, let me lean against this pole because I'm tired." I wanted to see what he said, and I went, "I've just been working all day." And I wanted to see what he'd say when I said that. And I went, "Just working all day." "Same." And I thought, okay. And I just noticed he would do this every time. And one time I came in, and I was going to, like I said, he didn't work all the time, so that didn't always happen. And then I noticed one time I came in and he was not working, because they had their shirts on, where you'd know when they're working and when they're not. And he didn't have a shirt on, and he just takes that chair, slides it in real quick, and goes, "That's my spot." And I thought, what the hell is up with this guy? He's just being a shithead. And, it'd be like if I'm purposely, you could tell, trying to start a fight with you, right? And, I just thought it was weird. And, I remember after he finally quit, I just started standing at the pole again. Never had an issue again. Bouncers never said nothing, never bothered me. Nothing. Nobody ever did nothing. I thought, it's him. The owner didn't say that, y'all got to stand there or anything like that. He's just being a jackass. And I remember one of the times he did it that night and moved me. Like I said, I wasn't going to start no trouble. That was the only place I had to go, and I was at benzo withdrawal real bad. I couldn't get no fight, for goodness sake. I'd get killed. And, no matter who it was, it would really damage me if I got in a fight and got hurt. It would really mess me up. And I remember he went by me real fast as he walked out, and he went, "Have a good one, man." And I thought, what the hell that night? This was early when he started doing this. And now he comes in there, and he doesn't really do nothing no more. He doesn't bother me, and I'm thinking, was he just doing this shit because he thought I was going to take his woman? I never gave him any inclination that I was going to. I never flirted with her, never talked to her, never looked at her. You never caught me staring at her. Because like I said, nothing personal. I just wasn't attracted to her. It didn't do nothing for me. And I just thought, men are so horrible to each other. I would never do that, especially if the guy never walked over and said nothing to her. And